Good morning, everyone. Now I'll be discussing the topic cell injury. So first, let us know the functions of the cell. Then we'll get into the topic proper. Functions of the cell and also the some structural components of the cell along with its functions. So the functions of the cell are protection from the environment, communication and movement of the cell, nutrient acquisition, generation of energy through Krebs cycle, molecular catabolism, and renewal of senescent molecules. So these are the various organelles present inside the cell, like lysosomes, ribosomes, cilia, and smooth endoplasmic reticulum, rough endoplasmic reticulum containing ribosomes, mitochondria, where it is a site for ATP generation, secretory vesicles, cytoplasm, peroxisomes, centrosomes, centrioles, and the nucleus which contains nuclear pore, nucleolus, nucleoplasm, and envelope of the nucleus. So these are the functions of various parts of the cell as we discussed before. The cell membrane, it controls what enters and leaves the cell. And nuclear membrane, it controls what enters and leaves the nucleus. Nucleus, it's a control center of the cell. And the chromosomes, it contains the genetic information of in the cell. And endoplasmic reticulum, it acts like a transport system. And ribosomes, so these are the organelles which make up proteins. And Golgi bodies are these organelles, they package the proteins and process the proteins. Vacuoles, they store the water and waste material. Lysosomes, they break down the old cellular parts through some enzymes. And mitochondria, it is a cell where there will be cellular respiration will be occurring. That is a site for ATP generation and which provides energy for us. So these are the various components of the cell membrane. Cell membrane, it is a bilayer, phospholipid bilayer, which contains hydrophilic heads and hydrophobic tails. And these are the other different proteins present in the cell membrane, like integral proteins, surface proteins, glycoproteins, and all, which have got various functions. So, and the cell membrane, it contains, as we discussed, like phosphatidylinositol. It generates the intracellular signals and that also acts like electrostatic scaffold for intracellular proteins. And phosphatidylserine, it has got a role in apoptosis. It acts as, and also it acts as a cofactor in blood clotting process. And other components like glycolipids and sphingomyelin, they help in cell-to-cell and cell-to-cell matrix interactions. And these parts or components of cell membrane, they may also act like antigens and receptors. They also help in passage of molecules, like either through passive diffusion or carrier-mediated or either through receptor-mediated process. And the cell also has got a cytoskeleton. It is an intracellular scaffolding of the protein. And what are the functions of the cytoskeleton? It helps to maintain the shape and support of the cell, and it helps in the movement of the vesicles and also helps in cell division. And it helps to maintain the organizing relationship between the organelles, and it also helps to maintain the polarity of the cell. And it is composed of three proteins. One is microfilaments, intermediate filaments, and microtubules. Microfilaments, they control the shape and movement of the cell. Intermediate filaments, they help to bear the mechanical stress. And these intermediate filaments may include either vimentin, desmin, neurofilaments, cytokeratins, or GFAP. And the microtubules, which can be either cilia or flagella. So these are the microtubules, microfilaments. That is the microfilaments, and these are the intermediate filaments. And there are cell-to-cell interactions, which can be of three types: tight junctions, or desmosomes, or gap junctions. Tight junctions, or these are also called as occluding junctions, and the examples include occluding zonulin and catenin. And desmosomes, these are also called anchoring junctions. Examples for this include cadherins. And the gap junctions or communicating junctions, and these help in passage of ions, nucleotides, sugars, and amino acids and vitamins. So here we can see these are the tight junctions we can see here. These are impermeable junctions and they prevent the molecules, as the name suggests, tight junctions. These are impermeable junctions. They prevent the molecules from passing through the intercellular space. And these are the desmosomes. These are the anchoring junctions. Then they help these are nothing but the tension reducing network of fibers, and these are the gap junctions where the ions and some different molecules like amino acids all will be traveling. Communication will be occurring from one cell to another. And mitochondria, this is very important. The matrix of this mitochondria contains enzymes which help in the Krebs cycle. And the products of carbohydrate, protein, and fat metabolism are oxidized to produce energy in mitochondria. And this mitochondria has got important role in apoptosis and the necrosis. So endoplasmic reticulum, it is an Golgi complex, is a site for synthesis of all transmembrane proteins and lipids which is required for the cell membrane and the organelles. And smooth endoplasmic reticulum is very important in organs like liver, adrenals, and muscles. And Golgi complex, where there will be synthesis of carbohydrates, complex proteins, and packaging, and also there will be processing of the proteins inside this same. And here we can see in the Golgi complex, the processing of protein will be occurring, and they are transported. So the transport vehicles are transported, and they are secreted out. And lysosomes, these are the organelles for waste disposal in the cell. They cause digestion of the macromolecules because they contain number of enzymes. And nuclear membrane is studded with ribosomes, and chromatin contain chromosomes, and nucleolus is a synthesis center for ribosomal RNA. And the nucleus contains contains coding regions and non-coding regions. The DNA contains coding and non-coding regions. The coding regions are exons, and the non-coding regions are introns. And the coding regions, they help in protein synthesis, and the non-coding regions, they help in the architectural planning. And the non-coding regions, they regulate the gene expression or they control the genetic activity. And the following are included in it, like promoter and enhancer regions, mobile genetic elements, non-coding regulatory RNAs, telomeres, and centromeres. So now we will come to the topic proper, that is cell injury. It is defined as a variety of stresses a cell encounters as a result of changes in its internal or external environment. So a normal cell, when there is slight functional, like altered functional demand, then it will try to adapt to the body. These are called adaptations, and it can be of either of these types. Like it can be atrophy, hypertrophy, hypoplasia, metaplasia, or dysplasia. So when that altered functional demand or stress is removed, then the cell will revert back to normal, or the normal cell will get restored. Or when there is, if it is not a just altered functional demand, if the stress is little more like mild to moderate stress is there, the cell will undergo a reversible cell injury, where if that stress is removed, then the repair and healing will occur. And some changes will occur inside the cell, which can be in the form of degenerations, or some subcellular alterations will be occurring. Like or example, it can be in the form of intracellular accumulations like hyaline change, fatty change, like that. Some accumulation might happen. So these are the changes when there is mild to moderate stress. And when there is severe stress, the cell is not able to bear severe and persistent stress, then there will be irreversible cell injury, which will lead to cell death, either in the form of cell necrosis or apoptosis. So when there is normal cell, if there is an altered functional demand, the cell will try to undergo adaptation either in the form of atrophy. Atrophy means shrinking of the size. Hypertrophy means enlargement, increase in the size. Hyperplasia means increase in the number of cells. Metaplasia means change of one type of epithelium or mesenchyme to another type of epithelium or mesenchyme. Dysplasia means disordered arrangement of the epithelial cells. So when adaptation will happen, when the stress is removed, the cell will be restored. If there is mild to moderate stress, reversible cell injury will occur either in the form of degenerations or intracellular accumulations or some other subcellular alterations. If the stress is removed, again it will revert back, but some repair and healing will happen. And if there is severe and persistent stress, irreversible cell injury will occur, which lead to cell death either in the form of necrosis or apoptosis. So all these topics will be covered in this chapter: causes of cell injury, reversible and irreversible cell injury, pathogenesis, What are the cellular adaptations? What are the accumulations? What is necrosis and apoptosis and the differences between them? Pathological calcification, gangrene, and cellular aging. So let's come to the causes. What are the causes for cell injury? Hypoxia, it is the most common cause. Physical agents, chemical agents, infectious agents, immunological, genetic, nutritional, aging, iatrogenic, idiopathic. These are the various causes of cell injury. So hypoxia, it's the most common cause. Among hypoxia, again, the ischemia is the most common cause. Hypoxia leads to shutting down of oxidative phosphorylation because oxidative phosphorylation requires, the process of this oxidative phosphorylation requires oxygen. So what are the causes for this hypoxia? It can be anemia or ischemia, or there is cardiorespiratory failure or carbon monoxide poisoning, or if there is any severe blood loss, there can be hypoxia. And that it can be physical causes like when there is trauma or thermal injury, like it can be in the form of bite or sorry, frostbite or burns, or it can be in the form of electric shock, radiation, and rapid pressure changes in the atmosphere. All these physical causes can also cause cell injury. So chemical injury, it can be either poisons, it can be due to any of the poisons like cyanide, arsenic, or mercury, or it can be in the form of strong acids or alkalis like HCl or nitric acid, or some pollutants, pesticides, some drugs, even oxygen at high concentration can cause cell injury. So these are the various chemicals which can cause cell injury. These are some of the pesticides. These are the pollutants. And infections. Any of the infections like bacterial, viral, protozoan, fungi, any parasite, all these can cause cell injury. Immunological, this immunological, it acts like a double-edged sword. It can even protect and also it can cause damage. When it can cause either hypersensitivity reactions or anaphylactic reactions or autoimmune diseases. Nutritional imbalances also cause cell injury, like either it can be nutritional deficiency or nutritional excess. Nutritional deficiency in the form of starvation or protein malnutrition, like kwashiorkor or marasmus, or mineral deficiencies like iron deficiency may cause anemia, or any other trace element deficiency may also cause cell injury. Nutritional excess also may cause cell injury, either because it may cause atherosclerosis, hypertension, or directly it may cause heart disease. Here we can see the picture showing kwashiorkor and marasmus. This is the atherosclerosis and infarction you can see here. Genetic disorders can also cause like cell injury. It can be the storage disorders or sickle cell anemia. Here we can see sickle cells and even Down syndrome. All these genetic disorders can also cause some abnormality of the cell. Psychological disorders like mental stress, anxiety, overstress. As we know, because of the anxiety, there can be increased hyperacidity, which may cause gastritis. So it is causing injury to the gastric cells, epithelial cells. And drug addiction, alcoholism, smoking, like example, smoking causes lung carcinoma. All these psychological disorders also may cause cell injury. So to brush up this again, this one more slide. Normal cell, if there is very mild stress, it will try to adapt either in the form of atrophy, hypertrophy, hyperplasia, metaplasia, or dysplasia. And if there is some more injury, like mild to moderate stress is there, then the cell will try to undergo reversible injury, either in the form of some alterations or accumulations or some changes inside the cell, and the cell will revert back to normal by repair and healing. And if there is injurious stimulus very persistent and very severe, then it will undergo irreversible cell injury, either in the form of necrosis or apoptosis. And the causes of cell injury can be either in the form of physical causes, or it can be due to hypoxia, which is the most common cause, physical injury, chemical injury, radiation injury, pressure changes, atmospheric changes, and chemicals like pesticides, poisons, and all. And the changes can also be due to the cell injury, can also be due to psychological factors like drug addiction, smoking, and alcoholism, all those things. So there are various causes for these are this today's topic is about the causes of cell injury.